Because of Vincey, I'm going to have to give my grades now. So, look, I'm not going to waste too much time on them. Ramsdale. And if you notice, guys, this is the first time I've ever done the grades where the number is before the player because the whole team was backwards today. So I have to reflect that in the grades. So Ramsdale.
I have a question. There's no number next to Xhaka.
No, I normally write NA, not applicable.
Oh, so is that his point?
He ain't even worth the NA. He ain't even worth the NA. Mind you, Tony did say he had a shot, which went for a field goal. There was a Thomas Partey special and went 40.
No, but he did get one on target.
Yeah, so Tony's going to grade him well. So let's wait to hear what Tony gives on Xhaka. Ramsdale 5. Cedric gets a 6 today. African Guna was saying he was getting dominated. I didn't see that. I thought he was standing up and giving as good as he got. I thought there's sometimes he got beat and there's sometimes he beat his man. The war was up there and he was battling. So I'm going to give him a 6. I don't have no man of the match, by the way. 6 is the highest grade that I've got on here, and I don't normally do the subs because they don't normally have an effect to the team. But if I was to, I would give Nketiah probably a 6.5 if I was grading Nketiah, or maybe no. You know what? I give Nketiah a 7. So I didn't enjoy watching anybody on the pitch except for when Nketiah came on, and when he came on and what he did, I enjoyed it. So if anybody's my man of the match, it'd probably be Nketiah. But that doesn't say absolutely nothing at all. White was so bad, I actually missed him and went straight to Gabriel. White gets a 3. Gabriel gets a 2. Tavares gets a 2. Odegaard gets a 4. Partey gets a 3. Saka gets a 4. Lacazette gets a 2. Smith Rowe gets a 4. Arteta gets a 3. Tony's trying to do some maths there. So Neomis, do you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, please. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, my grades are very simple. Everybody gets 4s because they were all poor today. If you're looking at the whole game, for me, Nketiah was the best of a bright bunch, and I like what he was able to give to the team. Ramsdale, I had to give a 4 because he conceded 3 goals, even though obviously he's not part of the general outfield play. Cedric, I did feel he had some good moments, but I did see what African Guna was saying when in the first 20 minutes, Zaha was just being very physical with him, and he just wasn't able to deal with that. But I thought overall he did fine, but still, it's a shame he went off. White again 4, not good enough. Gabriel, not good enough. Tavares, wow, not good enough. Odegaard missing. Partey sloppy with passing. Xhaka. This is a normal score for Xhaka. Is a 4. Saka didn't do anything, and Lacazette. I'm lost for words. Smith Rowe, yeah, I'm very disappointed in him. He's my guy, and I'll give a 4. Even though it's the players on the pitch, it's something that Ebony kept saying all throughout is that we would have more options if we didn't send all our other options out on loan, and that's more so kind of long-term planning. But I mean, what is he supposed to do? He's got some injuries that he's had to manage, and I don't know what the next games are going to look like. I hope Tomiyasu is near coming back. Maybe it means that the likes of Flores might have to play at right back. Maybe Ben White will have to play at I don't know, or left back. I don't know. But
that would be White. White would play right back, and Holding would come into the centre.
Yeah. So
what about him?
Overall it was a poor game, but with one little nice spark with Eddie kind of showing that maybe there's something there, but that's it. And I probably would have given him a 6.
Let's go with Ebony because Tony's still working on the digits.
Okay, right. So Rami gets a 5. The goals were not his fault. Maybe he could have done better with the first goal, but nonetheless, all 3 goals were not his fault. Cedric, he gets a 5. He was roasted in the first half by Zaha. Yes, there were times when he came into his own, but he got roasted for the most part. Zaha had him on toast. Ben White and Gabriel, they get a 3. They were both poor in central defense. Tavares, he gets a 2. Odegaard, he gets a 3. He was poor. The whole team were poor. For giving away that penalty, he gets a 3. Partey, he gets a 1. I don't know how many times he gave away the ball to Crystal Palace, but he was just not at the races today. Xhaka, he gets a 1. Saka, for all these little bits of running that he did in the second half, he still gets a 5. Lacazette gets a 0. Smith Rowe, he gets a 4. I'm going to bring in Nketiah. He gets a 7. For what he did in 20-25 minutes compared to what Lacazette did for the whole game. This is why he should have been brought on. This is why he should have started. He gets a 7. Martinelli, he made an impact as well. You can see him doing his little runs and whatnot. He gets a 7 as well. As for Arteta, he gets a 1. I don't know what he's expecting Lacazette to do, but the fact that Lacazette has scored 3 goals for the whole season and he gets £180,000 a week, you might as well give that to my mum. She's 76. She could do a better job. Okay. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Arteta and Nketiah as to why he's not starting. And I keep saying it. People seem to agree with the manager. Start Eddie Nketiah. You saw what he did in 25 minutes. He almost set up a goal. He almost scored a curler, and I think he almost scored another one as well. What is wrong with you, Arteta? We have no strikers, and don't start me on Lacazette because Lacazette was poor. How many chances did he have? How many goals did he have on target? None. I don't even know how many times he touched the ball today. He was poor. The whole team were poor. But when you're relying on your star striker to actually make the whole team, but particularly your star striker. Sorry.
You're not going to believe this. Andrew says greetings. Kuke says, Andrew, look what the cat dragged in. Where have you been, bro? And Andrew says, did not watch the game. Andrew, you are my hero. My immediate reaction is, while it's a terrible result, important mindset is on the next match. Yeah, which is what I've said to everybody here. I did say, guys, look, we could lose 2 games, beat Spurs, and still get 4th. So don't get too down. Yes, we lost today. It doesn't. Today's result is not going to define us. We're still in control of our own future. Let's make that clear. We're not sitting down here saying all is lost. Let's just make that clear. Let's just get that out of the way so we can go to bed and leave the stream and still feel hopeful about our chances. Yeah, you sucked tonight. You threw one in the can. You threw Arteta under the bus because from the time you came out, you weren't ready. Arteta, at halftime, we all said he needs to change it, and he did. So he tried to manage. It was damage control, really, because you had no Pepe. Your options were gone. You've now got Partey injured, Tierney injured, probably out for the season. Pepe is not well, and Tomiyasu. Yeah, so those are big time players. Tomiyasu, Pepe, Thomas Partey, and Kieran Tierney. You have a thin squad of 18 players, and you're carrying those 4 injuries. So I'm personally not going to dive in and stick my boot in on the team because they're hurting right now. We've got some very concerning issues, guys, leading into the Brighton game that we need to take care of. Use your energy to focus on praying for the fact that this team can overcome these injuries and these knocks that they're carrying from tonight's game against Brighton at home. All I can say is thank God that Brighton is a home game and thank God that they're not in great form. That's my 2 cents on it. That's my comment, really. Vincey's saying this is game management and the reluctance to have players like Sam Nketiah that I agree with. Sambi should never had been taken out the team for Xhaka. Never. But that's my opinion. And Nketiah should have started long before Lacazette had all of these injury. This is what I don't understand. Arsenal fans have always got something to say about Nketiah, but nothing to say about Lacazette. So you would accept, same thing I said to the African Guna about an hour ago, you would accept these performances from Lacazette without even trying another option. That to me is just bonkers. You can't look what Nketiah did in 10-15 minutes. Yeah, set up 2 chances. Yeah, 2 big chances created, and then hit the woodwork in 15 minutes. And where has Lacazette been for the whole game? How long are you going to continue to carry this on? You're carrying 2 players in this team. And because you're winning and getting results, you're thinking, yeah, let me just ride this wave and see how far I can go. It was always going to come to the point where they were going to cost you. And I'm not throwing everything on those 2 players. I'm not putting everything on this performance on those 2 players. What I'm saying is in the games that we were doing well in and those guys did nothing, if you had more adapt players that you were getting something from, wouldn't you have had a better result? Because as Tony mentioned in the Armis, your goal difference is now in the can. Your goal difference in comparison to Spurs is bad. Why? Because you had a striker who can't score, and you've got a guy who's playing in the number 8 position who's completely isolated and barely involved in anything to do with the game. So, look, man, at the end of the day, all is not lost. But if you want to save this season and get into top 4, you have to make some chances. And they're going to be unpopular. But that's what being a manager is all about. You got to go against the grain. Don't be a part of the herd. Yeah? Rafa Benitez did that at Liverpool and he won the Champions League. Yeah? Sometimes you got to do things that are unpopular to get the best result. So I'm putting that out there for you, Arteta. Vincey said you can't make excuses with this for this with Arteta and his small squad. There's no excuses. There's not a single person making excuses tonight. They all weren't great. Not a single one of them. Nobody gets credit tonight, Vincey. This is from the team was shocking. They let the manager down. Lacazette is shit. That's probably Jimmy. And then he says, on to the next one. Still a long way to go. We knew this was going to be a tough one. Yeah, and they all were tough. Villa was tough. Wolves away was tough. The difference is we overcame those. But how many can you overcome until you finally put in a bad performance? Even the best teams have a bad game. So it is what it is. Bertram saying Lack has been playing like he's in mud. Change is needed. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Tony, you got the conch.
I was just listening to my new manager, Patrick Vieira, speaking. Wonderful speaker. Can't wait to see him in my team. I'm gonna go with Nyomis. I kind of feel like, you know what, Nyomis, you nailed it, bro. Same as Nyomis. Force for everybody.
Yeah, Tony's just like, look, bro, I wasn't even gonna do any player ratings until Vincey stepped up in this joint. Yeah, I wasn't even in the fling numbers.
Nobody performed today. Nobody performed.
Yeah, tonight isn't the night for numbers, man.
Poor.
I'm not gonna go as bad as you with the vote on Arteta. Whoever gave Arteta a 2, I'm gonna say, you know what, you can only play what you got, and he played what he got. Because if you ask yourself this question, who else could he have played tonight? There was nobody. There was nobody. He could have started in Nketiah over Lacazette. Yep, that's one. So that's it.
He could have put Sambi in for Xhaka.
Yeah.
So I just want to. I did this at halftime. I'm going to do it again. I'm just like, so Ramsdale was nowhere near the goals, and his distribution was shocking. I mean, some of his balls were either short or overhit, and boy. So I'm just going to move on. Cedric Soares, he battled Zaha, but at times Zaha got the best of him, which
Exactly.
Zaha will do that to a man. But other times I thought Soares was up for the fight, and also he tried to get forward and help out Saka. He put 3 balls into Saka, and Saka's control just left. Saka was awful today, man. Saka's first touch, like I said, in the whole game. Anyway, I'll come on to Saka in a minute. I'm jumping forward here. Ben White, he just played like, where was the fight? He had no fight in him today, no conviction. I didn't see him fight for any clearances. The physicality was not in his game today. Gabriel, now I'm going to come out and say it. None of you guys have said it, so I'm going to come out and say it. Kieran Tierney has always been said to just be an above-average player of late. But now he's not there. You can actually see the kind of interlinked cover and the relationship he has with Gabriel, because without Kieran Tierney there, boy, Gabriel was just exposed. I mean, he looked horrendously exposed. I've never seen him whiff on a kick like that all season. And he just looked, after that, you could see he dropped. He was indecisive, and that's why Lacazette walks up to a player after a mistake and says, bro, you got to keep your head up. Because when a young player makes a mistake like that, your head's gone. We know it. Lacazette knows it. And it's exactly what happened throughout the game. After that mistake, Gabriel was in no man's land. His passing was dreadful. He just looked somebody who was beaten up. Tavares, let's skip Tavares, because I don't want to beat up on a young player when he's down. I don't think that's the right thing for me to do. Odegaard, he could not get into the game. It was almost like, we know what happened with Liverpool. Klopp put 2 men on him. Vieira did that as well. Look, when you've got the most creative player in the Premier League since November, we go away to Villa. Steven Gerrard didn't do it. Yeah, when we played Leeds, when we played Wolves, none of these teams did it, and that allows Odegaard to play his game. Patrick Vieira tonight was saying, "Bro, Liverpool had mega luck with this, so we're going to lock him down." They locked him down. He didn't have no space. He couldn't get through any tackles. Everything was tight spaced. Even when he did get the ball, he was rushed. So you wasn't allowed to see his technical level. But that's okay, because what happens when a team does that, and this is like basketball now. Basketball, you have 5-on-5, right? So when you double a player, one man's always going to be free. And hence why I made the point that Martinelli was the open man against Liverpool. Martinelli in that game thrived. Okay, he didn't score and whatever but he had the chances to. He was running at Robinson all day, and he was a star of the show. But that's what happens when you double a man. Someone is going to be free and open to dominate the game, and nobody did that. They locked up Odegaard, and nobody else did anything with the ball. And that brings me to Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey has been the heart and soul of this team in the last 2 months. For me, he's been player of the month in February and player of the month in March. And today, he looked like the Thomas Partey of 2021. Yeah? Because the Thomas Partey in 2022 is a different Thomas Partey. That's a different level. That's a Kante level you're talking about. But today, he looked like Xhaka. I see this man giving the ball away. I see this guy off the pace, no energy, not getting into tackles, horrendously loosely given balls, inaccurate everywhere, just completely heads gone.
But what is it? Was he tired? Was it not match practice? Was it what was it today?
Yeah, I think the long drop off didn't suit them. The thing about winning is a habit, and winning is when you're in your stride, it's a very hard, difficult habit to break, and it builds confidence, it builds momentum. Tonight we saw no momentum, no confidence. So that's what makes the Brighton game on Saturday very, very tricky, because you've got to now gain back what you've lost from those games, that the 5 away games winning streak that you had. You've got to now work twice as hard to get back to those levels, because you've let your manager down. So you've got to now go and prove to the manager again, and you've got to go out there and show the fans on the other side that you're still in this fourth race, because Tottenham performed yesterday like they want fourth. We performed like today like we wanted to get relegated. But that's an anomaly. Our form has not been like this. Even when we played against Liverpool, we played well. Even when we played against Man City, we played them off the park.
But the thing
most times when we've lost, we've actually played well.
Yeah, especially against Man City at the Emirates. But I mean, at the end of the day, all this thing about we can afford to lose 2 games. I know what people are saying, but at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to lose any. And I'm not saying that it is our divine right to win every single game. Of course, we're going to lose at some point. But, at the end of the day, this whole thing whereby you have a window in which you're able to, like, default. And then I've supported this team long enough to have seen that every single, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, every single time we get into a position where we can actually capitalize, we falter. And yes, we can afford to lose 2 games, but those 2 games can become 3, 4, to the point where we're looking at 8th again. And I'm doing my best to be as optimistic as possible. I'm always trying to be optimistic. I even thought we were going to win today. That's how optimistic I've been.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, do not put yourself in a position whereby, although you're able to lose 2 games and you can afford to lose games, don't put yourself in a position that that 2 could become 4.
Yeah. And that's what makes the Brighton game so important now. If you lose to Brighton, you're literally dead in the water. We're quick to throw Arsenal players under the bus, and we give no credit to the other team. And this is why you've heard me mention Vieira and Klopp quite a lot of times today in regards to what they did with Odegaard. Because what Patrick Vieira did to Saka today was very smart. What they did is they funneled the baseline. Baseline means the line that the goalkeeper stands on when he's on the penalty area, all the way up to the corner flag. And if you flood that, what you do is a player can't use the width to go out on the outside. Yeah, what you're doing essentially is you're forcing the player inside early. And because Palace was so stacked, remember, Palace had 20% possession after 70 minutes. They were just sitting back on the lead. So Arsenal was doing all the work. But what they were doing is they was forcing him on the inside where it was congested and you can't do anything there. So this was another tactic that Patrick Vieira was using to nullify the use of Saka. And these are young players. They don't really know how to work outside of that. Some of them do. Some of them are quite smart. But to gain the intelligence at 20 years old, to be out-coached by veteran players, I think it was Bertrand mentioned that it's young, talented players against seasonal talented players. So there's a big difference there. Regardless of skill, you're always going to come up against a wily old fox. And a wily old fox is going to do some dirty tricks. And these are some of the things that our fans have to identify. Exactly the tactic I talked about with Odegaard and the tactic that I talked about with Saka. These are things that are being done to us to stop us from playing. So when we're out there always throwing blame at some players, he's out of half game, why isn't he performing? Sometimes, guys, that is by design. Yeah? A good manager will look at a team's strengths and nullify them. Yeah, and that is something that Patrick Vieira did today to Saka and to Odegaard.